tired of being lulled into a mediocre existence by mindless video games, rejuvenating weekends, and a pitiful income from a soul-suffocating job. Welcome to the Scripted Club, where membership is neither perceptible nor consensual. In Unscripted, MJ DeMarco reveals how we've been culturally constructed for slavery since we were old enough to sit patiently in a classroom, inadvertently enslaved into a system where harmful traditions continue unquestioned and lifelong goals go unmet. Through the pursuit of entrepreneurship, we can reclaim what is rightfully ours and create a revolutionary repossession of life and liberty. A paradigm shift isn't required. Rather, the entire paradigm must be discarded. By unscripting today, you can take control of your life rather than allowing life to control you. Living a scripted life. You weren't born to live a scripted existence, to slave from 9 to 5, pay bills, and then die. What will your spirit sing when your life comes to an end? What is the difference between regret and remorse? Or do you prefer serenity and happiness? Elderly adults approaching the end of their lives frequently wish they could travel back in time and converse with their younger selves. If your future projection appears bleakly uninspired and unworthy of your family's history books, you have the opportunity to change it right now. In case you didn't know, slavery is still practiced today. Except that today's enslavement is known as the script and implied social contract in which a gilded cage is traded for voluntary indebtedness and lifetime labor. If you're following your script, you'll probably hear murmurs in your daily life that something isn't quite right. The coming of Sunday night and the looming Monday can feel like a game of hide and seek with the Grim Reaper. Or maybe the whisper is a mixture of hatred and guilt. You despise your work, your boss, and your company, but that paycheck is immediate forgetfulness. If you're older, the whispers are probably a source of frustration. You did everything correctly in life, as recommended and ordered by authority, and yet you can't seem to get ahead no matter how hard you work, save, or scrimp. Then there's the most haunting whisper of all, regret. You intended to accomplish something with your life and be wealthy. But now, facing a stack of bills, atop a desk, atop a mediocre life, it's all a dead dream. In reality, every little thing that bothers you in your regular routine points at a major deception. A sudden realization that only requires a confession. You're living, but you're not alive. Unscripted is your roadmap to a life of riches, freedom, and happiness that only a few people have experienced. Unscripted is for you if you want creative freedom and the freedom to pursue meaningful work. It's for you if you're young and would rather travel, drive great automobiles, and have free time than wait to live rich when you are old. It's for you if you're prepared to take a chance on yourself. Everyone wants things to change, but few people want to change their ways. Well, unscripted isn't something you try. It's a lifestyle. The scripted operating system. The script is not a grade school instruction manual or a map stapled to your college diploma. It cannot be seen or touched, but it exists. It's invisibly everywhere, just like the air you breathe. The script runs the show, and it will influence the way you think, work, play, vote, save, invest, retire, and die. You find a job so you can join the privileged ranks of a time prostitute, exchanging large blocks of your life's time bank, 5 days a week or 7, in exchange for small pieces of paper known as money. Economically, herds are structured for slaughter, shearing, and milking. If you herd with the crowd, you'll get predictable outcomes that are tailored to the crowd. The implied social contract inked by conventional wisdom provided by conventional individuals living conventional lives is the script's most effective weapon. And you sign the contract every time you follow the social dictates. But the truth is, conventional wisdom is the road to a conventional life. Why would you follow ordinary advice from ordinary people and expect extraordinary results? The affluent get richer because they are the ones earning from the script and are not constrained by it. Someone who uses the script as their operating system is a compromised party. Friends, relatives, co-workers, and authority figures such as teachers, coaches, and guidance counselors can all be compromised parties. As a child, the compromised party was taught X, Y, and Z, and as an adult, the same beliefs will be taught because it is the only reality they are familiar with. The 9 to 5, paycheck to paycheck, live for the weekend lifestyle is their life, and it will be yours as well. A prejudiced party, like a compromised party, spreads scripted doctrine. However, a prejudiced party gains through script speak, whereas a compromised party repeats cliches merely because they believe it is best for you. The scripted operating system assures that we all adhere to a script. Seeders, hyperrealities, temporal prostitution, life routes, distraction, and model citizenship are all part of it. First, seeders write and enforce scripted ideology, much like a torrent stored within a computer system. They are compromised or prejudiced parties. Second, because your brain perceives reality incorrectly, a cascade of misleading inferences and misdirected ideas known as hyperrealities results. Misguided thoughts lead to erroneous acts, which lead to unwanted outcomes, which lead to discontent. The hyperrealities foster your loyalty and captivity by deception, distortion, and diversion. Third, seeders and their hyperrealities make a criminal bargain for your most valuable asset, your time, resulting in temporal prostitution. Fourth, you're given the illusion of free will and the opportunity to choose your life path. Door A, the sidewalk, or Door B, the slow lane. Both of these roads lead to the slaughterhouse, and neither will make you the boss of yourself. While the sidewalker is bound and gagged by debt and consumption, the slow laner is bound and gagged by deprivation and hope. Finally, the script remains hidden if you are distracted, and you unwittingly gain a model citizenship. You become mediocre, obedient, dependent, entertained, and lifeless. Thus, you become a seeder yourself and start replicating the scripted operating system like those who taught it to you. And the cycle continues. Unscripted. Script has a way out in the form of unscription, a life-altering subset of thought and action backed by business. Unscripted is about what you don't have versus what you do have. It's exclusion and excommunication as a means of self-actualization. All in all, unscripted may be summed up in one phrase: fuck you. The unscripted mindset is about just saying no to the script. Is your mortgage costing you an arm and a leg? Fuck you. I'm willing to pay cash. Do you have to work the following weekend and miss your child's playoff game? Fuck you. I quit. Is the stock market tanking, putting your retirement plans in jeopardy? Fuck you. My retirement is not funded by the stock market. You can't go on vacation until someone grants you permission. Fuck you. I'm leaving the next day. As you can see, unscripted is about pure, unadulterated life and liberty, as the phrase "fuck you" indicates. Owning your time and ideas while curating your existence is what life is all about. It's not just about being, but also about becoming. The 5 basic "fuck you" liberties are freedom from work, from scarcity and fiscal restraint, from hyperrealistic influence, from hope and dependence, and from the ordinary and routine. You usually have to go through a "fuck this" incident before you can start shouting "fuck you." The "fuck this" incident is a traumatic, epiphanic, and terrible experience. It's a breakthrough that goes something like this: no more. I'm done, or I can't live like this. When the pain of the status quo ultimately outweighs the expected suffering of its departure, the point of no return where nothing else matters, the "fuck this" event strikes you in the face. Nothing can stop a true "fuck this" incident. When you have an epiphanic "fuck this" experience, you realize that the world does not stop when you lose your job. If you're afraid of committing, ask yourself, what's the worst that may happen? Will it end your world if it does? Is it a life-threatening situation? Will you lose a limb or go blind? No. A remarkable existence necessitates a remarkable story. You are merely drafting the story whenever you face difficulties, failures, or struggles, so don't be afraid to go all in. The Unscripted Entrepreneurial Framework. TUNIF, or the Unscripted Entrepreneurial Framework, is a master plan that gives entrepreneurs a significant advantage in life, liberty, and entrepreneurship. 5 vital steps are required to build an awe-inspiring existence few dream of having after spending many years in the scripted world. These processes make up TUNIF, a 5-phase thought and action development that comes together in a succession of macro and micro processes. The unscripted framework can help you uncover your actual purpose by providing you the freedom, choice, and money to do so. TUNIF begins with a "fuck this" event and develops into multiple variables that intersect and represent a component in the unscripted process. 3B, MP, Fee, Key, and 4D. 3B refers to beliefs, biases, and bullshit. They represent your micro-processes, your thought patterns. It's how you perceive, think about, and feel about the world around you. To put it another way, 3BS are the mind maps that are propelling or stymieing your personal change. Simply put, beliefs are things you think are true but aren't. Your biases are your mental shortcuts and default assumptions which either reaffirm or preserve your beliefs. And bullshit is your internalized story about why things are the way they are, or simply the crap you sell yourself. Many of us go through life thinking we're designing our own destiny, living beautifully and purposefully. But in reality, we aren't. Our brains are recycling impulsive and reactive responses based on our pre-programmed 3B behind the scenes. These preconceptions, biases, and nonsense support the scripted OS, which tells us what to think, say, and do. Many false beliefs are drilled into us from childhood and are in reality scams. For example, the shortcut scam is the belief that extraordinary outcomes can be obtained by revealing a secret miracle weapon that can circumvent the actual hard labor that produces extraordinary results. Another harmful belief is the special scam, a double-edged belief that intrinsic talents are sufficient to achieve our goals or that our innate talents are immovable, fixed traits that cannot be improved. The culture of consumerism, the belief that the wealthy cause poverty, the belief that money is based on chance, or the belief that you must live a poor life in order to become wealthy at the end of life, are other examples of such scams. There are 7 primary biases we face. The first is aversion to change, or a refusal to adapt. Despite being surrounded by change, your brain prefers comfort and the status quo. This is known as change adversity. The status quo bias, our brain's preference for predictability over instability, lies at the root of change difficulty. The second is righteousness, or a preference for being right over being wealthy. Righteousness isn't about being fair. It's about our need to see and hear only what confirms our prejudices, while dismissing, ignoring, or debating the rest. The third is antithetical apathy, which is defined as not despising money just because you lack it. If you want to achieve financial freedom and liberty, you must connect your values with those aims. Otherwise, you'll either lie to yourself or undermine your attempt, resulting in tension and worry. The fourth is semi-washing, which is the enmity we experience when others realize we aren't following the scripted brainwash. When conventional paradigms are challenged or questioned, both the message and the messenger are attacked. The fifth is hero worship or podiuming. Each of us must cease attempting to write our tale with someone else's pen and start writing it with our own. Sixth is survival highlighting, which occurs when you concentrate on the survivors of a process because they are highlighted, while overlooking those who are not, usually owing to a lack of visibility, and hence reach an incorrect conclusion. The last bias is momentum paralysis, which occurs when we allow momentum to carry us through life rather than making proactive decisions that are clearly better for our future, even if those actions are difficult or uncomfortable. MP refers to meaning and purpose. As you progress through the unscripted framework, your sense of meaning and purpose will serve as a spark for you to act, persist, and win. While the rewritten 3Bs motivate you to begin, your meaning and purpose and its motivation cycle motivate you to finish. Great results necessitate a great deal of dedication, and commitment ignites the process principle, which transforms habits into a way of life, and a way of life into winning results. One of the key reasons entrepreneurs are passionate about their profession is that they have a why, a compelling reason to work hard and persevere when things get rough. Congratulations, you have a purpose if something obsessive in your life keeps you awake at night. And therein lies the difference between interests and commitment. Superficial desires do not require sacrifice, whereas a dedicated goal must. FEE refers to fast-lane entrepreneurship, which is encompassed within one governing principle, a productocracy made up of 5 core commandments: control, entry, need, time, and scale. A productocracy directs money to value producers, firms that expand organically through word of mouth and return clients, compelled by a product or service not readily available elsewhere. After all, few people make purchases based on advertisements. Rather, social media, personal recommendations, and peer evaluations are used to make purchasing decisions. Key refers to kinetic execution. Kinetic execution is a momentary and incremental issue-solving strategy that leads to the resolution of a larger problem and ultimately your business solution. The execution stage is when ideas are turned into reality once they have been sketched out on a napkin, and it's the behind-the-scenes work that no one sees. Sourcing, manufacturing, learning to code, making numerous cold calls, or getting ready for a trade show. 4D refers to the 4 disciplines of an unscripted person. The four disciplines finalize the difference between lifelong subscription and temporary success once you've achieved a scaling productocracy. The first discipline is comparative immunity, which is the ability to be content with your current pace while avoiding the futile game of comparison. The second discipline is proposed saving, made up of 5 R's. Reframing your perception of money as a means to an end rather than an end. Reforming your expenses by eliminating what doesn't matter. Reducing your debt. Reallocating your income surplus smartly. And finally, rewarding yourself. The third discipline is measured elevation, which refers to the discipline of increasing your lifestyle in proportion to your income. Lastly, the fourth discipline is consequential thought, which is the ability to anticipate the effects of our acts and to recognize that our choices are disproportionately weighted toward the negative. Money pots for passive income. 2 pots, plus an optional third, are used in an effective unscripted money system. The size of these pots is determined by your lifestyle objectives and risk tolerance for each item they represent. First, the fuck you pot is idle cash in brokerage and money market accounts that is usually doing nothing and producing nothing. The point of the fuck you pot isn't about returns or yields, but about options. The optional house pot is where you can buy your dream home, free and clear of debt. Your home will be your most significant lifetime investment, so money will never be an issue if you eliminate this expense. The other option is to have enough money in your next pot, your paycheck pot, to pay your monthly mortgage or rent without difficulty. The payday pot is the star of the show, with the others serving as backup. This pot is the final game for the unscripted entrepreneur, a passive income system of financial instruments that pays your bills, funds your lifestyle, and gives you consistent cash. Bonds, options, equities, bank deposits, investment trusts, and other financial vehicles that provide a published, predictable yield are examples of such financial instruments. Whether you're investing $10,000 or $10 billion, there are 7 rules to follow to keep your money secure and your income flowing. The rent rule suggests that when you hand over control of your cash pot to investments, you should seek metaphorical rent in the form of dividends, interest, or partnership income, rather than unqualified guarantees. The SNAP rule states that investments in paycheck pots must be highly liquid or reversible to cash at the touch of a finger. The apocalypse rule states that a worldwide financial apocalypse is the only catastrophic threat to your major investment. If any of your investments, whether stocks or bonds, acquire unrealized gains larger than or equal to 3 years in dividends in any 3-month period, sell and accept the profits, according to the 3 years in 3 months rule. The Akbar rule states that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. It is used to differentiate between income and speculative investments. The rule isn't disqualifying but rather qualitative. Such investments belong in the speculative fuck you pot, not the paycheck pot. When dealing with managed distributions from managed funds, the 1% rule states that any fund having a management fee greater than 1%, excluding interest costs, should be avoided. Finally, the ostrich rule argues that you should avoid investing in businesses that no longer fit the cultural or economic atmosphere. An entrepreneurial profession is more than a job without a boss. It's a way of life that's lived every day, not postponed until Saturday and hibernated Monday through Friday. It entails escaping the soul-sucking death cults of peer conformity, media-imposed mediocrity, and scripted cultural conditioning. But most importantly, it implies that you are in charge of yourself, your decisions, your time, and your life. Going unscripted begins with a single thought planted in your head. It takes determination and knowledge to realize that you are not a slave to a car, a television, or the government. If you turn that thought into a lifestyle, you'll reap the benefits of abundance and pleasure, no matter how you define it. So don't hang up control of your life to the script. Claw it back, shred it up, and rewrite your own unscripted story.